Yo guys, I've got a spark which I'm going to use to ignite the fire for an episode of the Skylanders carryon Locke that I've been particularly looking forward to ever since the start of this series, though several weeks back, because today we are ushering in the dawn of not only my favourite Skylanders game, but my favourite game of all time, period. This is Skylanders Trap Team we're talking about here, and so as per the norm, we're going to place the cast that has been carried over into this game from the survivors of the Swap Force portion of the Locke. So naturally, those characters who have versions in this game to upgrade to, we are now going to be upgrading those characters. So in the case of Shroom Boom, he gets upgraded to his Sure Shot version, and another thing to incorporate into this portion of the series is the minis. So any Skylander who has a miniature version of themselves, that mini now becomes the final tier of the character's survival. So if the original is defeated in combat, they revert to the mini, and only when the mini is defeated in combat is the Skylander truly classed as dead and cannot be used again throughout the remainder of the series. This goes for characters like Bash, Terrafin, and Spyro. And speaking of Spyro and Terrafin, they both have elite forms in these games. The elite forms are the exact same as the original characters, except for the fact that they have a shiny new paint job, and their attacks deal 3 times damage and 3 times the health. But the move set is completely the same, which is why the elites have become the new original versions of these characters. So whenever Knockout Terrafin is defeated, for example, we revert not instead to the original, but the elite, because the elite is what the original has now become. And then they have one tier below that with Spry and Terabyte, respectively. So that is how it has worked, carrying characters forward from those that survived in Swap Force. And now, as for the 8 base elements of the game, we are going to get one brand new representative for each. And those representatives are going to be chosen out at random by the wheel of names I have before me. So without further ado, let's find out who our new magic representative is going to be chosen at random. We have... Wait for it! Yes! I am so excited. We got Deja Vu. If we get her all the way into Imaginators, then the boss fights in that game are so screwed, because she is incredibly busted against boss fights, in particular Imaginators. You might not believe me because she's a core, and cores are notoriously garbage in Imaginators. But trust me, when we get to that point, if Deja Vu is still alive, you will get to see true obliteration incarnate. I'm so excited about this. I love the Trap Team Magic Cores, and to have gotten one of them at random, we can finally give these guys the appreciation and the acknowledgement they deserve. But without further ado, let's find out who our Earth representative is going to be. I'm hoping for someone just as good as Deja Vu. Perhaps Wallop or Scorp will be great if the random name picker wants to stop at any time now. Apparently it had enough momentum to push us barely over into Rubble Rouser. I was hoping for Wallop, but we do at least have a character with a hammer. And this also means now that Washbuckler has a fellow swapper, so we have 2 swappers in the cast, which would have been far more useful in Swap Force, the game where swapping is the entire name of the game. But you know what, I'm glad we have it now at least, so we have 2 swappers that we can interchange between. But as for our water representative being chosen at random, we are gonna have... Oh, keep going, don't give me Riptide, I don't want Riptide! Well, we officially have the worst cast member to be added for the water element imaginable. He has nothing to upgrade to in future games, so he has no future prospects, and he's just not as good as all these other characters of water element. But hey, if we're going to have awesome characters like Deja Vu, we've also got to deal with a random name picker being not so nice on the other end of the spectrum, giving us characters that I don't necessarily want. But it's made up for afterwards, because it's given me Smolder Dash, my second favourite Skylander of all time. The fire element is officially busted, because we now have Igknight, Hot Dog, Hothead, and Smolder Dash. This element is practically unkillable. This is brilliant. I'm so excited to play as Smolder Dash, my second favourite Skylander of all time. But as for tech element, we're really hoping for Gear Shifter Jawbreaker here. That would be a dream come true for this cast. Wait a minute. Trigger Happy is great as well. Like, he doesn't have a version in this game to upgrade to immediately in terms of reposes, which means we go straight to his elite form, and then after his elite form, we have his mini form, which means that he's guaranteed to make it through Trap Team into Superchargers, where we get to upgrade to his revamped version, Double Dare Trigger Happy. So Trigger Happy is definitely one of the better cast members that came up for the tech element, and I'm very excited about that. Plus it's another representative from Spyro's Adventure, and those are always welcome, getting to see those iconic 32 cast members pop up. Yes! That is the best possible outcome. Crypt King! The Cheese Lord himself! Oh, Wolfgang is screwed! Wolfgang was my biggest concern going into this game because Wolfgang is really tough. Not, however, when you fight against him as Crypt King. This right here is perfection. Oh man, I was excited for Trap Team already, but now this has gotten me even more pumped up. Who are we going to have for the air element? Is it going to be Thunderbolt? Just because, you know, clearly one busted Trapmaster isn't enough. We've got to get another one with a big ass sword. Or we could get Free Ranger instead. Free Ranger is also great and it gives us a third swap to interchange between. So finally, we are going to be able to get to see some swapping of some tops and some bottoms, and I'll explain how those rules work as we go along in the series. But for now, we have one final cast member to generate at random, and that's going to be for the life element. Give me Bumble Blast! I know you've already been really generous with Crypt King, but Bumble Blast would be great. Ooh, or it could give me another Trap Team core. At the end of the day, the only one we had going up to this point was Deja Vu. So to get Ho 5, I misspelt that apparently. But yeah, to get High 5 as well means we have 2 Trap Team cores to take advantage of. At long last, so they can finally get the appreciation and the acknowledgement that they deserve. Wait a minute, did I say 2 Trap Team cores? Well, we have 4 more slots still open in the casting of the characters right now. So those slots are going to be dedicated to the new elements that Trap Team has introduced. They introduced us to the light and the dark elements. Now, we want these elements to be able to keep up with all of the other 8 elements, so naturally we're going to give 2 representatives for each. Coincidentally enough, both of those elements only have 2 representatives of which to choose from, so there's no point picking them at random, because at some point eventually every single one of the characters is going to show up. So we have added to the cast not only one new representative of all of the original 8 elements chosen at random, but we also have added to our cast the dark representatives, Nightmare and Blackout, as well as Nightlight and Spotlight. Just like the swappers, we will explain about the rules pertaining to them as we go along with the series, which means that now we have to get into the game in order to make such things possible. So without further ado, I will see you in the main menu of Skylanders Trap Team. And here we are in the Skylanders Trap Team game itself, as you could tell from the epic music. Now, I am way too excited for this, so we're going to press the X button already and get straight into it. We are, of course, on PlayStation 4, because hopefully this will result in the recording of these Locke episodes being a lot more smooth sailing. After all, on the Xbox 360 we did have rather an abundance of technical issues. Now, since Deja Vu here is the only one of these Skylanders who's part of the Locke, she was randomly chosen to be added to the magic element for this portion of the series. So we might as well go with her profile over here, and as per the norm we are sticking to Nightmare mode. We cannot turn back. So we have been warned. Without further ado, let's head into the story, where on PlayStation 4 we have nicer graphics, short loading screens, and just generally a guarantee to have that smooth sailing experience I was alluded to earlier. It might just be that my Xbox 360 is old, it could have been the game disc for Skylanders Swap Force itself, but either way, I really don't want to have to deal with those technical issues every other episode, so this first episode isn't going to be too much of a hassle difficulty-wise. We are going to stick with the same Skylander that beats the Swap Force portion of the series, that being, of course, your boy Igknight over here. Boy, I'm so excited for this. This is my favourite game of all time, let alone my favourite Skylanders game. I can't reiterate this enough. I mean, I know I've said it a lot, but this is all just for the sake of the effect of repetition, and that effect is obviously being to put emphasis on the very thing I am repeating. Now, my Igknight has a whole load of treasure, a buttload of treasure, but then when it comes to his level count, as you can tell, he's still not quite maxed out yet, although a lot of the other Skylanders have been, but that's purely because we're going to save this guy's leveling up system for when we acquire some of those level up orbs, because throughout this game, whenever you Portal Master rank up from collecting stars by completing either arena missions, Chaos Doom challenges, or you can get stars for completing level objectives. So those stars amount into Portal Master ranks, and when you achieve a certain Portal Master rank, you get a present that's launched down from the sky. But these presents have all sorts of rewards, and one of them is these level up orbs, which instantly level up whatever Skylander receives them. So those level up orbs are going to come in handy when Igknight here is going to be in need of them. But that's pretty much what we're reserving this character for, and it's why he's not quite level 20 yet, because it's very hard to level up a Skylander past level 20 utilising a level up orb. So here we have Sheep Creep with an introduction that's completely unskippable. That's my greatest nemesis. But here we are with Sheep Creep. I'm not even going to make the generic joke. You know, usually this is when I'll turn around and say that we're so doomed and that we're going to lose every single lock and for characters. Every single Locke in the characters? No, we're going to lose every single character in the Locke right here because this guy is just way too tough. How am I supposed to possibly comprehend this level of difficulty? It's absurd for the beginning of the game. Oh! 3 minutes in and we already have ourselves some janky-ass glitch, but we have defeated Sheep Creep because he is easy. Okay, here's the first boss in the game. He's not designed to be hard. We're not going to exaggerate things. We're not going to pull off the usual joke because by the time I had finished explaining the fact that we're not going to go through the usual joke, I had already defeated Sheep Creep in that time because that guy is just so easy. Yeah, Sheep Creep is easy. The joke is that I'm not making a joke this time. Anyway, let's get over that jump right there. I almost forgot where the jump button was on my controller for a moment. That would have been awful embarrassing. Now we could head into that little area off hidden behind the turtle. We're just not going to. After all, what it involves is a winged sapphire, and if I am to go back and upgrade any of my Skylanders, it's not necessary because all these Skylanders are fully upgraded. I'm actually prepared for this lot for once. And I need to be because Trap Team is tough. It can really start obliterating characters if I don't go into things with the utmost concentration. I mean, that is true, but I'm not playing as a Trap Master right now. Even though Igknight would make a great Trap Master. Then again, Igknight would be great at anything he puts his mind to. Because this is the Igknight we're talking about here. Wow, he is so jank in this game though. Like, I thought his hitboxes and Spyro's Adventure were bad. Shaketh the room more. Okay, let's let these chompies just kind of surround us, and then boom, baby. Here I am forgetting that this is the Series 1 Igniter, so obviously I don't have the blue flame left behind afterwards, which is rather very disappointing indeed. But yeah, I do have a secondary profile, main profile in this game that has 100% completion, so if I am to go back and get upgrades to these characters, it would be going back to that profile where all the winged sapphires have been collected already. Okay, fine, just don't do the combo then. Luckily, we'll be fine. I mean, later enemies in the game are likely to one-shot us if we have only 620 health remaining. But luckily for us, these here levels are not those levels, because in this first episode for Skylanders Trap Team here, we're going to be playing all the way up to the end of Chompy Mountains. We're going to be playing through the first 3 levels of the game. Then, boom, boom, we're going to shake it room. Yeah, take out them chompies before they become a much bigger threat for us. But the first episode is going to be chapters 1 through 3. Then we're going to play through chapters 4 through 5, 6 through 7, 8 through 9, 10 and 11, then 12 and 13, 14, 15, and 16 and 17 for the sake of the Golden Queen duology. You know, those 2 desert levels, one after the other. You've got to go, man. You've got to go. And luckily for me, that's where I got my charged up Power Slam for. Now, there's a really secret spot back here. It's so secret. So very, really secret that they even named it really secret spot, because this, my friends, is a secret spot, but that is for really secret spot. Oh, that's great. Thanks for informing us there, Buzz. But currently I have my headset volume on so low that I can barely even hear them, and that's for the best, because then I can hear myself speak, which is far more important when it comes to the art of commentating. You need to be able to hear yourself speak and hear yourself think, more importantly. Now, if we were playing on the Xbox 360, I'm sure the game would have crashed by now, so I'm glad we're on PlayStation 4 instead. Yeah, I probably was talking about something else before we discovered the really secret spot, but then I just completely derailed my train of thought and forgot entirely what it was we was talking about. So clearly it wasn't that important to begin with if I forgot it so easily. Oh boy, the soda, man, it is powering him up. What he needs is he needs less of that. I mean, he says he needs soda. He doesn't really need all that soda now, does he? Sharon is Karen. Then again, Gulper is a villain here, so Sharon and Karen not really his forte. Ooh, wait, no, never mind. That's dangerous. Buzz having the thoughts is dangerous. Buzz, I need you to stop thinking right now. Stop doing it. This is dangerous territory we're in right now. I mean, I did say about him drinking less soda beforehand, didn't I? It's a shame that all the soda's going to go to waste, though. Let's bounce ourselves over there. I can't believe Igknight already taken so many hits, man. But luckily for us, we are fine. It's not the end game yet, where we're likely going to lose a shit ton of characters. Or we would, if not for Crypt King. I'm so glad that Crypt King was picked for the Undead element, because the Undead element by far has the hardest sections throughout this game. But luckily for us, Crypt King turns the difficulty of those sections on their head, and he makes Nightmare mode look like easy mode. Crypt King is just so obliterative, it's stupid. It makes me feel sorry for the enemies, and I don't actually say that with any sarcasm, I really mean it. Crypt King is so unbelievably brutal, it's not even fair. And what's also not even fair is my lack of platforming abilities right now. Like, come on, man, how am I supposed to not make a perfectly jumpable jump whilst jumping? Try to say that 5 times faster. But what's going to be interesting about this portion of the lock is that obviously life was in pretty good circumstances going into Swap Force in particular, but now in Trap Team they only have 3 lives to go around, and the same can be said for Tech. You know, they went into Swap Force in a pretty promising circumstance. Why can Igknight not jump to save his freaking life, bro? Anyway, I really want to destroy that wooden like table set because it's just staring me down. It's looking at me funny. I don't like where it's looking at me, so it's got to go. I've got to chop it up, and we all know fire and wood do not combine themselves so nicely. Oh boy, well, it sounds horrendous, so if it tastes even worse than that, whoo, boy, is Goldbread for a big old nerf. Yeah, I'd love to do that, but the longer you explain to me to do that, the less time I have to actually do it. So now we've destroyed those wooden like table sets, and they had it coming for look at me funny. But say, Tech and Life, they have only 3 lives to go around, but the difference here is that Tech also does have harder portions of the game than Life to deal with. Tech is going to be absolutely fine, because we have Elite Trick Happy, and even if Elite Trick Happy is defeated in combat, we downgrade to his miniaturized version, and so long as that makes it into Superchargers, we get yet another upgraded version of Trick Happy in his double layer iteration. So Tech has a incredibly busted character for one of its lives, and then it has additional lives to look forward to in the future prospects of the series. So Tech is in a pretty good situation, whereas Life, on the other hand, we have High Five, and then we have Short Shroom Boom. If he's defeated, we revert back to his original form. So that's 3 lives to go around the entirety of Life element, and for Trap Team that is not many, and there is tough life sections in this game. Not in the base game, but in the Adventure Pack levels, there are some tough life sections. So Shroom Boom and the High Five have quite the journey ahead of them if they want to survive and get carried forward in this series. The chances, the odds of their survival are definitely dwindling in the single digits. And then when it comes to all the other elements, well, Undead is in a good spot because we've already mentioned about how obliterative Crypt King can be. Magic is in a good spot because we have Elite Spyro, which is definitely going to be taking the brunt of the challenge in this series, because we want to keep Deja Vu out of harm's way so that then she can get carried all the way into Imaginators and become obliterative herself, like Deja Vu. For some reason, in Imaginators, they just forgot to nerf her, so she is brutal. She is one of the best Skylanders in Imaginators, period, and that's even comparatively to the Senseis and the Creation Crystals, because her healing ability in Imaginators is just so incredibly busted, especially against boss fights, which, you know, in Superchargers and in Imaginators both, but this is Imaginators we're talking about here. Imaginators definitely has its fair share of those. Then Fire and Water both have all 4 characters remaining, but they only have 1 life each, so that's 4 lives for both those elements. Ooh, Life is strong here, we were just talking about them. So without further ado, let's bring out a little bit of High Five, because, you know, we're playing as Trap Team right here, so we might as well take advantage of a Trap Team course that are often so overlooked and underappreciated, so it's about time we changed that. But obviously, Fire and Water aren't the only elements that still have all 4 characters remaining. There is also Earth, which has loads of lives to go around. So Bash has 3 lives, Terrafin has 3 lives, then Rubber Arrows and Flashbang have 1 life each. So that's 8 lives to go around the entirety of the Earth element. If Light Core Flashbang was still with us, that would have been 9. I don't think you could get any more possible than that, but Earth is just in a very beneficial situation where Bash still has the Series 2 form, so after that is defeated, we revert to his original, and even after his original, we can downgrade, should I say, all the way back to his miniaturized version. Then Terrafin still has his knockout version and never got defeated during the Swap Force run. And after that, we revert to the original, which has now been replaced by his Elite. And if by some miracle the game is able to kill him off, we get to downgrade to his miniaturized version. And Terrafin also has Sharpshooter Terrafin to be upgraded to in Superchargers. So our most like expandable characters of the series, the ones which are going to be the least like harmful for our survival chances and the carryover Locke in our entirety. So in other words, we're playing a long game here. We're planning ahead. This is very forward thinking of me, but Trap Team, Jetvac and Terrafin are definitely our most expendable characters, because Terrafin, if he makes it up, if this knockout version makes it all the way up to superchargers, then we upgrade to Sharpshooter Terrafin, and the life knockout Terrafin is just lost entirely. Like, we don't get to take advantage of it, because if Sharpshooter Terrafin is defeated, we revert to the original, which in this case is the elite form. So that additional life from knockout Terrafin is just lost entirely if he gets carried forward into superchargers. So we're better off in Earth sections risking for life of knockout Terrafin than we are risking the lives of the other Earth Skylanders. Then for Air, the same thing goes with Jetvac. If his full blast iteration makes it to the end of the game, then when he's carried over and he's upgraded to his Hurricane form, then the full blast version is just lost in its entirety. And so we'd rather use him in air sections over the other Air Skylanders, so that then we don't risk their lives. Whilst Jetvac wouldn't be as big a loss, because so long as his original or his miniaturized version make it into superchargers, we get to upgrade to his Hurricane form. So yes, Jetvac has triple lives, which leads to the air element actually having 2 for Tornado as well. So that's 5 between the two of them, and we have Free Ranger and Swarm on top of that. So Air has all 4 characters as well as 7 lives between them. Earth and Air are like in an insanely advantageous point heading into this series. And obviously we're going to start with Free Ranger here, because he's our new air representative, so we got to make sure we give him the screen time that he deserves, plus he's fully upgraded. And as we all know, this guy is pretty brutal with all of his upgrades, even in this game. Oh, here come more fellows who are about to get absolutely obliterated! Told you so. Anyway, this guy, boom, let's slow him even more, because our tornadoes can spin enemies around and keep them at bay, whilst our electrical abilities can stun them and make it even easier for us to engage them without risk, because whilst they're stunned, they can't hit us back, but we certainly can hit them. It's very glorious indeed. We're going to go ahead and pick up this story scroll, because I feel bad for just bypassing entirely in the first level. Plus, it's going to give us a small little nudge towards level 20 right there. The smallest little nudge I ever have seen, but a nudge all the same. And we're not going to read this scroll because I can't be arsed, even though they are quite funny indeed. But that's pretty much going to be our strategy. We have thought this through, and Jetvac and Terrafin are going to be our main characters for their respective elements, because losing them means that their additional lives are basically like bonus lives, and they'd be lost if they're carried forward into superchargers anyway, so we might as well use them rather than risk losing the life of someone more valuable and more important to the series. You know, why risk losing the life of Flashwing when we could instead lose the life of Knockout Terrafin? Then again, Flashwing is practically unkillable unless you're an idiot and play her like an idiot like I did in the end of the Swap Force portion of the Carryon Locke. But unless you play her like an idiot like I did, otherwise she is totally unkillable. She's unkillable, not idiot-proof. That's what Flashwing is. And unfortunately for me, I am an idiot. Oh, take him out. I didn't know he could shoot through that. So rude. I forgot to even mention this earlier, but Jetvac also got upgraded into his Trap Team form, granting him an additional life in the process. You know, both Jetvac and Shroom Boom have reposes in this game, so they were able to upgrade to those versions of themselves, and then the original versions of Spyro and Chop Chop got transferred to their elite versions instead. Their elite versions have now took the place of their originals, because the elites are the exact same as the originals in terms of their moveset, even their figurines. The figurines are just a little bit shinier is all, but the pose is exactly the same. Die! I just love doing this glitch for some reason. Anyway, let's take them out some more. Yeah, luckily for us, High Five is very maneuverable, so the chances of the enemies even getting close enough to hit us are very slim indeed. High Five is just good. Okay, end of story, period. Like that. This is why the Trap Team cores deserve way more recognition. Okay, you've got to get out of here, man. You've got to get out of here. So yes, Shroom Boom and Jetpack were the only ones in the case of having reposes in this game to be upgraded to. You know, the other reposes in this game are Frino, Pop Fizz, and Gilgrit, neither of which have been chosen by random name pick of their respective elements. Let's keep our distance with this guy, because Slobbertooth can stack up damage against us very, very easily. Did I accidentally call him Slobbertooth? I meant Slobber Trap, even. That's one of the things that helps make Slobbertooth as forgettable as he is. Like, whilst he might be a Dark Starter Pack character, he's still forgettable, purely because Slobber Trap came out one game later, and the names are just so similar that I kind of amalgamate them together, and I call each one for incorrect version of themselves. So in this case, I call Slobber Trap Slobbertooth, and I often call Slobbertooth Slobber Trap instead. But I suppose I should really explain about the rules pertaining to swappers and the light and dark characters, because I did allude to them during the opening sequence of the episode where we chosen a brand new representative for each of the 8 base elements at random. So in the case of the light and dark characters, I can swap out for them obviously whenever their elements pop up, which is very rare in this game. I believe in the Sunscream Aspire the light element does pop up once, and that's about it. But outside of that, I can swap out for them whenever the villain element pops up, or whenever an element of the area pops up for an element that has no Skylanders remaining within it. So if all of our life characters are defeated in battle and classes then can't be used again for the remainder of the series, in that case, whenever life pops up, I cannot switch out to a Skylander corresponding to the current element of the area. So instead, I swap out for one of our light or dark representatives. That's how that works. Let's press the X button and get out of here, and we even ranked up. It's the very thing I was alluding to earlier. We now get to see it play out in full. Pretty neat. That's nice, Mags, that's nice. But the Adventure Pack levels we're going to be playing between Chapter 17 and Chapter 18, so we're going to be playing the Sunscream Aspire and Midnight Museum after we play through Lair of Golden Queen. So that will be its own episode, and then the episode after that will be, of course, the later 2 Adventure Pack levels, the Nightmare Express and the Mirror of Mystery, specifically in that order. And then after we've played through the 4 Adventure Pack levels split over 2 episodes, we will then be celebrating the finale with the ultimate weapon, where we shall be defeating Chaos with whatever Skylanders we have left. But the base game alone is brutal enough on Nightmare Mode. We also have the Adventure Pack levels to worry about, which are very brutal in Nightmare Mode. Unless it's Midnight Museum, that's definitely the easier of the bunch. That is a diamond, which is going to go to waste if I remain as High Five for much longer. So we're going to take him off the portal, and let's go back to Igknight, since we've played him plenty in this episode already. I mean, he's not really going to be doing much, as all he's doing is receiving treasure so it doesn't go to waste. But still, slash and burn all of a sudden. Let's head out for Chunky Mountain without further ado. There is an interesting glitch you can do in this level during the open cutscene to basically skip half of the level. But you need a villain for that, so we won't be doing it. And even then, like, whilst I am going to be taking advantage of Trap Team's overall Jankiness, I'm going to be taking advantage of the glitches, because when in Rome, right? So yes, for Trap Team we are going to be taking advantage of glitches, but ones where you skip half of the level feels like taking that a little bit too far, a little bit too advantageous on our behalf. It's basically cheating, even if the glitches I'm going to be taking advantage of are also basically cheating, because I'm absolutely going to be taking advantage of Blackout's invincibility glitch. We are going to be abusing the shit out of that, and I'm going to love every single frame of it. Okay, so we've first things first got to recruit these Marbu into our pyramid scheme. I mean our progression scheme to progress through the level. Yeah, we're not worried about pyramids, at least not yet. The pyramids aren't until the Golden Queen levels, which are going to absolutely just slice through our cast like a hot knife through butter. And then for the swappers, the rules pertaining to the swappers. So obviously for air we saw free range right there, but if an element popped up afterwards that corresponded to one of the other elements of the swappers, then one of the halves of free range would have to remain, whereas the other half would be swapped out for whatever the current element of the area is. So say water popped up, I would have to play as Wash Ranger, and then afterwards if earth popped up, then the part which wasn't swapped out for in the air section will be the part that will be swapped out for next. So in other words, a specific half for the swappers cannot remain 2 times in a row. So it would go from Free Ranger to Wash Ranger to Wash Rouser. But obviously I'm not sure that specific sequence of elements actually appears specifically in this game. I'm not even sure if like air is followed up after earth or water and vice versa. You know, so those rules might not even ever come into fruition during this playthrough, but those rules are there just in case such things occur. You know, it's better to have the rules and not need them than to need them and not have them, as the saying goes. Let's blow up the well! Whoop whoop! I mean, the world doesn't actually do anything for us, but now we've blown it up anyway. We're a bit reckless like that. Obviously, there is a treasure chest down there, but you need a Trackmaster in order to gain access to it. An Igknight is many things, but a Trackmaster is not one of them. Now what we have is yet again another unskippable cutscene. This unnecessary deep stew is just really frustrating me right now. No, not pummeled in, anything but pummeled in, but life is stronger here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to high five. A lot of back and forth, I know, but that's just sometimes how the game goes. That's just how it rolls. Yeah, we're going to save Shroom Boom for the live sections in the next couple of levels. For now, we're going to focus on our brand new Trap Team representative, might as well. And man, that was fun. High five is fun. I love how fast paced he is, so let's get that mashed into place. That's what I'm talking about. Buzz, that is the plan, my friend. I cannot emphasize this enough. That is the plan. But we can't really execute said plan whilst you're too busy talking about the plan. So how about you shut up and let me actually fulfill upon the plan? That sounds like a great plan. I like that plan. So Tech is going to be stronger here, and we, instead of swapping out for our new representative, Elite Trick Happy, are going to stick to our guns and celebrate the character who got carried over from Swap Force, Wind Up. After all, after Zulu was defeated, we now only have 2 Swap Force cores, 3 Swap Force cores even, representing the entirety of the cast. So out of the 16 available to us, there's only 4 in our cast. Zulu haven't been defeated, leaves us with 3. We now have Wind Up, Riptide, and Smolder Dash. And let's be honest, one of them isn't as good as the others. It's Riptide! So is Riptide going to last very long in the series? No. No, probably not. In fact, Water, I didn't mention this earlier, but Water is in a really tough situation moving forward because a lot of our Water Skylanders aren't very range-based. Whamshell and Riptide are both melee characters, and melee characters do not mesh well with Trap Team's difficulty spikes. And some of the water sections in this game are brutal. Not as tough as any of the sections that lead to a Doom Raider boss fight, so obviously the toughest sections of the game are the Undead sections that lead to both Wolfgang and Golden Queen, the tech section leading into Dr. Crankcase, but this is what we have Elite Trigger Happy for, so even that section, as tough as it is, should be fine, because Trigger Happy in his Elite form just deals so much damage and has so much health to boot, that he can pretty much tank anything Dr. Crankcase throws at us. And that boss fight is quite easy to cheese, because if you let the barrels get goopified, then it's then there is a chance at getting food that can heal you up. And speaking of food, should we need it, there is that there piece of chicken. Oh yeah, let's take him out! Okay, sweet, we're doing just fine, apparently. Hopefully, I haven't said that, it just jinx myself, because that would be very annoying. Now, the annoying thing about Wind-Up in this game is that if you mash buttons, he starts charging up for whatever reason. So yes, his attacks aren't quite as high fire rate as they were in Swap Force. It's kind of unfortunate how they nerfed Wind-Up in this game. They did him dirty, but luckily for us, our Wind-Up ability is still as busted as it was beforehand. Boom! He's out here, but no matter how nerfed he is, Bruiser Cruiser is still no match for the might of our boy Wind-Up over here. But yeah, Water has to deal with Brawl and Chain. It also has to deal with some tough sections in the Sky Highlands. So the Water Skylanders might not survive those. Wind-Up and not Washbook, but even Wind-Up and Whamshell in particular, I am really concerned over. Because yes, their melee attacks are brutal, but so are the enemy's health bars in this game. So being so close and personal with them so frequently is going to put them at high risk. Washbuckler does have his bubble gun for a ranged attack, but against boss fights it's practically useless, which leaves us with Zap. Hopefully Zap can take out Brawl and Chain, because if he can't and he's defeated in battle, that would mean that we would have lost another one of our original 8 characters. That's tragic in and of itself, but it means we would have also lost our best Water Skylander, because Zap is our best Water Skylander, without question. Okay, let's complete this. We're not worried about collecting treasure along the way because wind up here is already maxed out, I do believe. That was a mistake. Mistakes were made. Okay, so just like that, we're out of here, and I believe this section of level is actually of the villain element. Yes, it is. So after we take out that Chompy, let's swap out for Blackout, because I was alluding to abusing his invincibility glitch earlier, and that's exactly what we're going to do against Chompy Mage. I am just going to pretty much cheese every single Doom Raider. Like, Dr. Crankcase is going to be incredibly easy. Is going to be, we're going to take the piss out of him, for lack of a better way of putting it, because we're going to be using Elite Trigger Happy for that fight. So Dr. Crankcase does not stand a chance. We already know the Dreamcatcher is a fucking joke. And Chompy Mage is about to get absolutely memed upon because Blackout is going to conduct his invincibility glitch against him. So that leaves Chef Pepperjack, but going into that as an air element, which basically means that we can enact upon our forward thinking and use full blast jetpack, which is by far the... Oh, let's not use that because that's how enemies become invincible. We want Blackout to become invincible, not the enemies. Speaking of the enemies becoming invincible... Oh dear!
I've made a huge mistake.
Okay, so we're back, and this time the plan is to not turn the enemies invincible, because I would way rather have invincibility for my boy Blackout over here than I would it be in reverse and turned against me. Now already Blackout isn't quite doing as well as it did the first time, but I thought as though it would be cheating to skip over this combat entirely, as we never actually completed the sequence, which is why I didn't bother with the cutscene glitch. Then also I attempted it 3 times and failed all 3 times, and after that I realised it would have just been quicker at this rate to basically have just played through the level anyways. So yes, whilst I am aware of the skipping level cutscene glitch thing with Bob, which is definitely just skipping enough as it is, we're going to stick to that. But yes, I'm aware of the glitch. I'm not necessarily good at pulling it off myself, on the other hand. Now you guys need some more black holes. That's what you all clearly in desperate need for. And man, my invincibility is going to come in clutch, because already my health has seen better days, and I do not want to lose Blackout on the very first episode of ushering in the debut of the Skylander Trap Team portion of carryon Locke here. You know, losing a Skylander in the first episode sure would be embarrassing, and it would be a first for me, because in the entirety of the carryon Locke thus far, I'm yet to have done that by some miracle. Okay, here we go, let's take him out. The trap team was tough, so I don't think anyone would blame me for losing anyone. Okay, that Brocky guy really needs to get the heck out of here, man. He's healing people up, and that is not okay. That is about as not okay as what invincible enemies is. So that's a lot of not okay. Like, the most of not okay in the history of not okay, which is a long, rich history, so that's really saying something. Man, I'm just losing health left, right, centre, apparently. It's a shame I couldn't initiate the glitch going into this. Invincibility glitch, the Blackout, that is. But say, we're going to take advantage of the glitch for whenever and wherever we can, because it's a glitch that really does demand, like, certain criteria to be met. So it's not really a glitch that we can take advantage of all too often, all too frequently. So let's grab all this treasure right here, don't mind if we do. Even though the treasure for a moment there wasn't counted. That last piece did, however. We got the little 1 icon appearing and 1 treasure was added to our treasure count. But before that, the piece of treasure we ran into just were not working on us. Yeah, that was pretty great going, isn't it? Anyway, what's annoying here is that Buzz is telling us to make sure that we get inside those caves before the noobs have enough time to wander inside there without us. The problem with Buzz explaining all of this is that in the time it took for him to explain that, the noobs had already wandered off and got themselves captured. If Buzz didn't explain to us that we need to hurry up and catch those noobs, then we could have actually, you know, basically caught up to them in that time that it took for him to explain that to us. That's the ironic part. So let's go on ahead and take down, because that was a targeted wall. So we're obviously going to hit the target with a cannonball. Why wouldn't we hit the target with a cannonball? After all, it's literally a target. So it's got to be hit by something, right? Because otherwise we're not hitting the target. So magic has popped up, and that means it's time for the debut of yet another Trap Team core, Deja Vu. It's a shame we're not playing her twice in the same episode, because then I could have made a joke about a whole sense of deja vu. But nope, the game just doesn't care about what I want, and what I really would have wanted is to have made that joke. That glorious joke. But nope. Not happening, people. The game said no. Thank you for the healing. That healing ability is what we're going to absolutely abuse the hell out of in Imaginators. Because you think it's busted now, you ain't seen nothing yet. Deja Vu has very little health to go around. That's just because she doesn't lose any health, okay? She's too good to lose health in the first place. And whenever she does, it's way too easy to heal back up with her. So let's get out of here, man. Let's get out of here. You know, when the Mabu feels like it. Mr. Mabu fella, do you want to like raise the platform, or am I going to have a secondary glitch I have to worry about? No, fortunately I'm not. But I do want that legendary treasure right there. Don't mind if we do. We're going to collect that and then swap back to high five again, because as per the norm, it appears as though this episode loves its back and forth notion between the characters. Back and forth and back and forth. So without further ado, onto the portal high five goes. Oh, it's just rude. I mean, I think that's definitely what the enemy should do. The enemy should really buzz off. They should go and do one. But it doesn't mean that we have any right to say it like that. Okay, let's take down some more of these fools. Boom! Explosions for the win, yeah. And then we finish that fella off too. Sweet! Anyway, it was awful nice of us to rescue Dawn. I'm going to agree with that statement, you know, especially since it was a compliment towards yours truly. And I do quite like being complimented. You know, it's a bit of a hot take that, but I like compliments. So, villains are strong here, which means it's time to go back on over to Blackout. And I tell you what, I sure am glad that villains popped up here before the Chopper Mage boss fight, so that not only can we take advantage of this here invincibility glitch, but also we would have to be playing against the Chopper Mage as a life scan otherwise. And I don't think High Five nor Shroom Boom stand quite as much chance as Blackout, and that's only because Blackout has the invincibility glitch. Otherwise, we would totally be swapping out with Nightmare instead, because Nightmare for 4 of them is definitely the most expandable and the least most useful and most at least most powerful. But even then, I bet even she could take out Chomp Mage on Nightmare mode, no problem, because the light dark characters are just busted, period. Like, if Nightmare is the worst of the 4, then that just goes to show how good all of the 4 are, period. And even then, Blackout would definitely be the worst of the 4 if not for his invincibility glitch. Let's say, you know you have a strong cast when Nightmare is the weakest amongst them, because Nightmare is still really stinking good in this game. Like, I used to sleep on her, I used to say that she's an overrated trap master and that she isn't as good as people let on. I was wrong! I'll be the first to admit it, I was wrong. Nightmare is stupid. Okay, so, here we go. Yeah, sure, you wait right here so then you're not in our way. That sounds like a good plan, I like that plan. So here on Chompy Head Spire, after we've made our final jump here, what we want to do is we want to, and I have the correct pathway upgrade for this, because you cannot initiate this glitch if you don't have the correct pathway. You need to be able to activate this ability in order to generate this glitch. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to skip the cutscene, and I believe I should be invincible. Hopefully I am, because otherwise I've just put Blackout in a whole lot of danger where he's most likely going to be defeated, because Blackout is not good about the invincibility glitch. Let me just emphasize this for a moment. That's kind of rude. But yes, that ability you can only do down a certain pathway. I am invincible! And luckily for me, I chose the correct pathway for my Blackout. If you choose the other pathway, then you can't actually purchase that upgrade ability, and so therefore the glitch will be inaccessible to you. But yes, as you tell, I am completely invincible. I can kill them, but they can't kill me. This is brilliant. I just love Trap Team. This is Trap Team's Jankiness cranked up to 11. Oh man, this guy doesn't stand a chance. Like, go on, hit me. Oh wait, you can't hit me. Oh, this is brilliant. And the only way to deactivate the glitch is either to take Blackout off the Portal of Power, which we're not going to do, or it is to activate the ability again, which we're also not going to do. So we're just going to take advantage of black holes here and just deplete this guy's health, whilst not having a care in the world, because his attacks cannot harm us. We are invincible. This is what being invincible means. And you wonder why Trap Team is my favourite game. This here is why it's my favourite game. The invincible enemies earlier was annoying. I don't like the fact very much that I had to replay through the level up to that point. But you know what? Since the enemies were invincible, it's only fair that we get our payback. You know, this is just instant karma on the game's behalf. I'm the one delivering the instant karma to the game. Like, the game had this covered for turning its enemies invincible on my ass. What goes around comes around. Treat others how you expect to be treated. So let this be a lesson, you know. This is not only like an annihilation of Jankiness himself, but this is a life lesson, and that is what makes this okay. This is not cheating if a life lesson is involved. Anyway, we're not worried about placing life trap into portal powers. We're just going to get ourselves the hell out of here, and we are going to conclude the episode after we obviously go through all of these different screenings right here. So we have got that first star, and we've got no lives lost, which is the most important objective of them all. But after having this done, let's roll that outro without further ado. Thank you so much for watching through to the end of this video. I deeply appreciate every last one of you, since it's viewers such as yourself which make these videos possible, and I couldn't do it without all of your unwavering support. If you enjoyed what you just saw, you can click on screen now to watch either my most recent video or a video picked out specifically just for you. You can also access the entire playlist for the video you just watched. I'll be seeing you in the next video, but until that moment arises, peace!